All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure to stay tuned. Every week, do it. It's pretty awesome. Talk about wrestling and just kind of reflect on what we talked about on this episode already. We talked about some WWE NXT review, gave you my AEW Dynamite preview. Also talked about the WWE SmackDown that aired after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, what it meant for the world of wrestling, the world of sports, and just America in general. And then talked about AEW maybe going to Fox, having their show Shockwave, possibly could, like I said, I give it like a 35-65% chance that, 65%, of course, no, but 35, it's possible. It's possible, especially if they love that ad revenue, which, who wouldn't? All right, but now we're going to talk about a fifth and final segment, something we do at the end of every Wednesday's show. We talk about my Wednesdays weekly wrestling news. So yeah, let's talk about some of the major breaking wrestling news headlines that are going around going around the world, going around the world. All right, first we have Matt Riddle saying that he's going to return to WWE, and it's extremely likely. I maybe, after all the success he kind of had at the Triple Mania, so I think it could be a possibility, but I don't think WWE is going to do it. I know he's had a lot of backstage beef with a lot of superstars. He's kind of like an in your face kind of like a talent. Kind of reminds me of like a Ronda Rousey. But he was good. He was really good inside the ring. He put on great matches. Had good promos. He was the original. I think somewhere along, maybe if he goes to NXT, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe that would be, a huge, surprise. But right now, I'm not, I don't think Matt Riddle is really like a necessity right now for WWE. I feel like there's a lot of other younger superstars that they probably should promote. First and foremost, you have to establish Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief and have him winning some damn matches. You have to find out what's going to happen with this whole Jacob Fatu storyline. Austin Theory, Grayson Waller. We have John Cena's retirement. Where is he going to fit in all that? Where is he going to fit in, it could be a possibility. Obviously, I know that there's, working with the UFC again, because technically TKO Holdings, I think I did read a rumor that, he did kind of, leave on bad terms. He was kind of too mouthy, especially to higher ups. So, if he thinks that's extremely likely, good for him. But I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it, the original bro. I'm sorry. All right, next, Roman Reigns is on the front and center of the USA Network's new poster for Monday Night Raw and WWE SmackDown, and it's not really a surprise. I feel like WWE's whole Raw and SmackDown thing heading into the new year, I don't think it's going to be that much polarizing, or I don't think that because you're going to see, I think there's going to be a lot of superstars on each brand. Definitely 1,010%. You've seen that with Randy Orton coming to Monday Night Raw to challenge Gunther. Roman Reigns is he's definitely one of the warmest stars, one of the hottest stars in WWE right now. Now you're gonna have The Rock coming back on that first episode of Netflix. I feel like stuff's gonna go down. I know of the USA Network of SmackDown. I feel like he's going to be there, and it'd be crazy to see him be on Solo Sikoa's side and help him beat Cody Rhodes for that WWE Championship. Would be pretty crazy, but you all understand why Roman Reigns is on the cover. He's the future of WWE. He's the future. He's the biggest star they have right now. Of course, you have John Cena coming back and The Rock, but this is his show. This is his show. Cody Rhodes came back. He came from AEW, but no, it's not the same. It's not the same. Overall, this show has been revolving around Roman Reigns since he left the Shield. And it's crazy, but to be honest, he's talented and he's gotten a hell of a lot better at cutting promos. He was good, really good as a heel. Let's try this babyface thing. Like I said, it's one of the most impressive babyface turns I have ever seen as a wrestling fan because he literally really didn't have to do anything. He was gone off of TV after losing and everybody hated him. And now you have fans on Friday Night SmackDown asking where Roman is and it's just magical storytelling. Definitely something that WWE did very well. All right, next to Hurt Business is in talks with AEW after their WWE departure. Obviously, I feel like Tony Khan has approached all of these guys. Right now, I'm pretty sure if they haven't came to an agreement already, pretty sure it's crossing the T's or dotting the I's. But Bobby Lashley was rumored to be taking up a boxing career. How serious that's going to take, I'm not too sure. I know he did try MMA and UFC for a little bit, like Dave Batista and CM Punk did, but didn't really come into fruition. No success there. Shelton Benjamin, I feel like, has been waiting for kind of something like this to happen because he's a star. And I feel like even though he is a little bit up there, I feel like he's getting a little older. That's true. But he can still wrestle the hell out of a ring. And he can still, cut a pretty good promo. I know that Shelton Benjamin could definitely take AEW to new heights. And Bobby Lashley, the MVP, the team of the Hurt Syndicate, would definitely send AEW through the roof. Definitely give them, I would say, like, at least maybe like 100,000 to 250,000 more viewers. That's how confident I would be that, people that would follow Bobby Lashley. And I feel like AEW is, 1 or 2 stars away. They signed Will Ospreay, they signed Kazuchika Okada, they signed Mercedes Moné, they signed Ricochet. I feel like they're two or three more big signing away from changing the landscape of professional wrestling. You know what I mean? Maybe actually, getting to the million viewers again. But overall, I feel like that would be pretty cool, beneficial for both the superstars involved, also the promotion. Next, Josh Alexander admits that he's considering leaving TNA wrestling. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I think I talked about this before, how mid-match he was supposed to win at Slammiversary in that 6-way elimination match. And obviously this is hasn't really been confirmed, but rumors, reports say that he was supposed to win, didn't happen. They decided to go a different route. Now you see him fight Nick Nemeth. They had a great match, an Iron Man match at their last pay-per-view. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I feel bad for the guy. I can imagine his frustrations, especially if you were kind of like promised to be given the keys and then, all of a sudden daddy takes the car away. And it's like, no, you know what? No, 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 no. Like, you know what would be better? I don't think this is the right idea. You know what I mean? Like that would get a little annoying. That would get a little annoying, 1,010%. So Josh Alexander thinking about leaving TNA. Next, we have Cody Rhodes' WWE Championship reign is criticized for being underwhelming. Obviously, listen to the Busted Open podcast with my man Bully Ray. Cody Rhodes has, they claim that he hasn't really faced the main heel. I agree. I do agree. And after he did defeat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, his story began. And as of right now, like I kind of mentioned before with Bobby Lashley leaving, which was a huge mistake, nobody really poses the same threat like Roman, like The Rock would, or like Brock Lesnar would, or Seth Rollins. I feel like but you just need someone big, somebody bad, a heel that just seems nasty to the opposite. Like I know that's what they're trying to do with Solo Sikoa. I feel like this push for Solo Sikoa is failing faster than their early push of Roman Reigns, forcing them down the WWE Universe's throat. I don't think Solo Sikoa is ready to kind of take on this title of being tribal chief. But right now, I feel like Cody Rhodes, all the pressure is kind of on him. You know what I mean? Roman takes a break. Drew McIntyre gets hurt. CM Punk gets hurt. It's nothing. Seth Rollins, it's crazy. It sucks. Brock Lesnar out of WWE. The whole allegations with the Janelle Grant case. He's been cleared, and he's set to come back to WWE. But once when everything kind of blows over, and I don't blame Brock for that. But overall, I don't really blame Cody as well. You know what I mean? I feel like right now, kind of ushering this new age between Netflix and between SmackDown going to the USA Network. Some things are obviously going to have to change. Obviously, Monday Night Raw going to a 2-hour show. Something's got to give. Something's got to happen. And I feel like it's right there. I feel like it's right there. All right, Kiana James was recently pulled off of the WWE active roster. No one knew why until today. Seems like she suffered a leg injury. She's going to be out for about 6 months. But, she was drafted to WWE Monday Night Raw. Next, we have SmackDown's final episode on Fox was worse than the debut. 1.8 million compared to a whopping 3.9 million. Obviously, you had the game in Brazil between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. So, any going up against the NFLs, you're always going to lose. You're never going to get the dub in terms of that. Monday Night Raw, they kind of saw a decrease in viewership, which was expected 1,010%. But, and now with this TKO emerging, how TKO, Dana White wants WWE to start having PLEs on Sundays so they don't, conflict with the UFC fight nights and stuff like that. Which I can get why that would be a good decision. But in terms of WWE, I don't think that's such a good idea, man. Going up against Sunday Night Football, and Sunday Night Football's on Peacock. I feel like that would be kind of like a lose-lose. You're like, all right, so now we're against these, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot there. So I don't know. It should be interesting to kind of find out what happens more or less. But yeah, WWE breaks the promise to Netflix. Netflix was promised to have The Rock and Roman Reigns to appear on Monday Night Raw regularly. Instead, they're going to get John Cena. You know, and I kind of mentioned this before early in the show. I think if I'm a huge executive on Netflix, part of this deal, and I know how much revenue The Rock would have brought in and Roman Reigns. I know they said after WrestleMania, after April, they're probably going to immediately jump ship to Monday Night Raw, which is expected. But I would be I don't know, I'd be kind of annoyed. I'd be kind of, what, you did promise us the two best superstars you have. Cody Rhodes is going to stay on SmackDown. That's cool. But Roman Reigns, like I said, he's the hottest superstar in WWE, and The Rock is definitely one of the most familiar faces in WWE. And now you're just going to get John Cena in his retirement tour. The last match he won was against no, the last match he fought was against Solo Sikoa, and he lost. You know, uh, doesn't really quite compute. Doesn't really quite make sense. But I don't know. Maybe Netflix is cool with it. I know if I was investing in my television streaming services, I wouldn't really be. But yeah. Anyways, lastly, we have Randy Orton's historic WWE contract, first ever to surpass 100 million throughout his career earnings. So definitely congratulations to the Viper getting paid your worth. He's getting paid. He will be wrestling throughout 2029. That's when he turns. I think that's when he turns 39. I think that's what they said. No, he's way older than that. He has to be. That's crazy if he's only 6 years older than me. That'd be crazy. Anyways, definitely, definitely congratulations to Randy Orton for this monumental contract. All right, guys. So, hey, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Remember to Superman punch that, like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show on Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And like I always say, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, hello, real quick to my man, Logan James. If I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, remember we have other shows. We have the GSMC Basketball Podcast with my boy Nelson, GSMC College Football Podcast with Tommy. College football's heating up on Saturdays. We also have two NFL podcasts, the Chip Shot Football Podcast with my boy Manny. We also got the GSMC Football Podcast with Kenneth. We also have for fantasy sports. Fantasies, I love playing fantasy. Absolutely love it. A lot of people do love it. Kind of takes you away from the real world for a little bit. You start looking at these scores and what these players are doing, and it makes football a lot more fun to watch. I got to be honest. I've always loved football first and foremost. We got my man Chris Shepard with your stardoms, your sit-ums. Who should you trade for the waiver wire? Who should you pick up on the waiver wire? Excuse me. Find out who to put in your flex. Find out, basically all your fantasy football know-how. We got the GSMC Fantasy Sports Podcast with my boy Chris Shepard. So we also got my boy Emran's podcast coming up. Soccer, if you're a huge soccer fan, stay tuned for that. So we also got Revolving Sports. We got this GSMC Sports with Jeremy. We got Sports by GSMC we got GSMC Sports with TJ and Sports by GSMC with Jeremy. I always get those confused, kind of back and forth. But like I said, that's it for me to get today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. One last time, want to give my condolences and my support, and definitely to all the people who suffered from 9/11. Like I said, 13 years ago, it's a crazy time on this exact date. So thoughts and prayers, 1010%. My support, my prayers are always with you guys. So yeah, stay beautiful, and of course, love you.